Folks, the NBA offseason is about halfway done. And we have a survey from ESPN breaking down the top teams, the worst teams, biggest surprises, trends, and more. 18 scouts, executive, and coaches were surveyed, and the results are surprising. There's some truths revealed about the Warriors, and we're going to break it down for you on this episode of Warriors Digest. We teased this on the last episode. If you haven't seen that, spoiler alert, I'm killing the lead, burying the lead. I guess I'm giving it to you actually. The number one trend is teams getting below the first or second apron. And the Warriors are leading that charge. I broke that full part down on episode 1. Go look at that. The link's right here. It's also in the comments. It's in the bio and in the description. And then now we're going to do the full survey. So I'm not going to go super deep into that one, but we're going to go into everything else. Randy Silver, Warriors Digest, first time here, long time viewer, either or. Thank you. Help us hit 6,000 subscribers. We're less than 300 away. It means the world. And we have global fans from all the way in Asia, Europe, South America, North America, Australia. I haven't seen anything from the polls yet, but one day we will. Until then, let's dive into the video. So NBA offseason, best, worst, and most shocking moves. Who had the NBA's best offseason? Again, voted by 18 coaches, executives, and scouts. Sixers with 8, Knicks with 5, OKC with 3, Celtics with 2. 3 teams from the East, 1 from the West. OKC have been trying to get better after being the 1 seed. Sixers retooled their team. Knicks made the major trade for Bridges. And Boston, we'll find out in this article, they've just basically retained their team. There wasn't a lot of significant movement this summer. Paul George to Philadelphia, of course, leaving the Clippers after he almost came to the Warriors. Almost relative conversations didn't happen. Mikal Bridges to New York in the blockbuster trade. OKC gets better at the wing, bringing in Caruso, or point guard, however you want to put him at, can handle the ball, play stellar defense. But the Sixers bring in Andre Drummond, Caleb Martin, Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, of course, Paul George, all to play with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, a former MVP. So that's big. In 18 votes, they got 8, so almost half. An East executive speaking about Philadelphia, they took themselves to the next level. We'll see if it gets them enough from point A to point B. And again, they just want to make a conference championship. It's been 20 years since AI. Or as one West executive put it, Philadelphia deserved the honor for landing George, especially because of what it could have looked like if the Sixers were left without him and they had the space and no star. Then who had the worst offseason? Nuggets with 6, Bulls with 5, Clippers with 4, Lakers with 1, Knicks with 1, Pistons with 1. So interesting, some people think the Knicks. One person thinks the Knicks didn't. Maybe they gave up too much in first round picks. Denver, what happened to them? Lost KCP, a wing player, 3-and-D, as a free agent to the Magic. Chicago lost Caruso and DeRozan. DeRozan traded to the Kings. Caruso traded to OKC. They were trying to get younger, I don't want to say tank, but younger draft assets and rebuild versus just being middling. They didn't get a first-round pick in either deal, so that's why they were a loser. And watching the Spurs get the best asset, a 2031 pick swap from the Kings in the DeRozan deal, thinking that, hey, you know what? Kings may not be good at that point. It could be a very high-level pick. And the Clippers let Paul George go for nothing in free agency. Could have traded with the Warriors, a different team. Nothing happened. The Knicks, the scouts said the combination of losing center Isaiah Hartenstein, who went to OKC as well, Hartenstein and Caruso in Oklahoma City, giving a near max deal to OG Anunoby and paying a heavy price to land Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not convinced they'll be better this year. So too much money given to Anunoby, and then the draft pick capital to give up. So again, it's all subjective. No Warriors though. What we did, we got under the aprons. No CP3 anymore. No Klay Thompson anymore. Melton, Healed, and Anderson coming in free agency. We haven't given Steph a new contract. Didn't shore up Kuminga or Moody. And of course, the outstanding Lowry marketing deal never happened. If that does, we're probably in the top. Best moves of the offseason. Sixers win with Paul George signing with them. Caruso trade defender with 5 votes. Brunson extending with the Knicks is 3 votes. KCP signing with the Magic is 2 votes. Rob Dillingham drafted by the T-Wolves with 1 vote. And Bridges traded to the Nets with 1 vote. And whoever said that drafted by the Timberwolves, it's either around Minnesota or somewhere in the know, because that's the only draft pick ever talked about in this whole article. We're going to break it down for you. After Philly got the most votes of having the best overall season, not a surprise because they signed the biggest free agent of the season, the go-to player, a perennial MVP candidate if he stays healthy, Paul George. Right behind him is Caruso to OKC, best perimeter defender, going to defender without having to give up a single draft pick, which is crazy to think about. Fleeced the Bulls. An East Scout getting him without giving up a pick is crazy. Brunson's massive discount on his extension also racked up votes, as did KCP going to Orlando, giving the Magic both a veteran wing defender and a quality shooter. And that team, of course, lost in the first round to Cleveland last year. They're on the up and up, so they get that veteran presence, not with 1 championship, 2. The Magic hit the nail on the head for what they need. So they're expecting him to come in and help out. Of course, the young players, great regular season. Now they have postseason experience to take the next step. Kind of on that Denver trajectory they were a couple of years ago. Worst move of the NBA offseason. Chicago part in DeRozan trade, 3 votes. Sacramento's part in DeRozan trade, 3 votes. So, split both ways. Paul George signing with the Sixers, 3 votes. So again, it's all subjective. Denver losing KCP, 2 votes. Mikal Bridges traded to the Knicks, 2 votes. Pelicans trading for DeJounte Murray, 1 vote. Evan Mobley's extension in Cleveland, 1 vote. Lakers inactivity, 1 vote. Isaiah Hartenstein signed by OKC, 1 vote. Chicago's part in the Caruso Giddey deal, 1 vote. Chicago, people not liking your offseason. Let's break it down. 10 different answers. The Bulls moved DeRozan and watched the Spurs come away with the only significant asset in the trade. As for Sacramento, those who cited that deal didn't like the fit of DeRozan with the Kings. The opportunity cost of not giving runway to Keegan Murray, said an East executive explaining why they picked the deal and a bad bet on the fit. My girlfriend, Mary, shout out, from Sacramento, big fan. She was not happy when I showed her this and was pissed off, saying they're going to be wrong. He'll be a good fit. What I think they're saying here is, 1, Keegan Murray, freshman year, rookie year was great. Even better sophomore year. He looks like he can be a true number 2 next to De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, or big 3, whatever you call it. Now, DeRozan will take shots out of his hand, take opportunities from him late in game to potentially, be that clutch player. Fox probably has the ball a lot in that scenario too. But just overall, it gives Murray less opportunity to continue to grow, to really become that second, third focal point. And you're betting that DeRozan can step in and help with this offense. Now you got a big 4 with Murray, Sabonis, DeRozan, and Fox, Malik Monk coming off the bench. That's a very, very strong 5 right there. That's probably your def lineup at the end of the game. George to the 76ers, tabbed as the best move of the offseason, had 3 votes as the worst move. It wasn't an argument on talent, but rather the risk of giving a 4-year, $212 million max deal to a 34-year-old player. 4 divided by 212, $51 million a year, basically. So at 38 years old, he'll be making $51 million a year. West Scout, I think he's on the decline. So, the cliche is time will tell. If Philadelphia makes this conference finals, success. They haven't been there in a long time. If they make the finals, the NBA finals, success. If they win a championship, it's all worth it. Most surprising move of the offseason? Mikal Bridges trade from Brooklyn to the Knicks, 5 votes. Paul George leaving LA, 3 votes. Not really surprising to me. Caruso Giddey trade, 2 votes. That was pretty surprising. Brunson extension. He's always seemed like he'd take less. I'm okay with that. Williams firing, not surprising, but it's surprising because how much money he's owed. KCP leaving Denver, not that surprising to me. Hardenstein defender, pretty surprising because they're already stacked. How much playing time will he get? Dillingham trade. So again, someone's a Minnesota type of guy. They didn't talk about it up there in the article. DeRozan to Sacramento. They needed some more scoring. I get that. Harris to Detroit. He's made a bunch of money, but you're going to a team you're not going to win with. They're still way back and trying to rebuild. And DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans. There was a wide range of opinions here, though it was not surprising that Bridges being traded from the Nets to the Knicks led the vote, giving it was the first trade between the two franchises in more than 40 years. It was an incredible deal for both sides, a West Scout said. Knicks became better, more well-rounded, win now. Brooklyn gets a chance to restart the organization and build for the future. Meanwhile, George leaving the Clippers came in second with 2 different reasons cited. The Clippers letting a max player leave for nothing, and George turning down a deal and staying close to home to move across the country. Comment your thoughts. Let me know. Then you got the biggest trend of the offseason. Again, I already broke this down. Go check out the previous video. It's the new luxury tax apron at 12 votes of all the different surveyed. This is the biggest consensus. Teams being stuck, general inactivity. We talked about the Lakers. Loading up on wing depth. And teams chasing a third sub-max star. The new apron rules, also called the Warriors rule, Clippers rule, making sure teams can't outspend each other and just pay a penalty. Now instead of just taxes, it's going to affect your draft position, draft picks, tradability, how much money you can bring in trades, if you can make a trade, so much more. So again, go check that video out. It's linked below. How effective is the new CBA? 5 out of 5, 4 votes. 4 out of 5, 6 votes. 3 out of 5, 3 votes. 2 out of 5, 4 votes. 1 out of 5, 1 vote. And I broke this down as well. Won't go super deep into it. But the league's goals here are working, said an East Scout. Again, it goes back up to the aprons. You're seeing less spending across the board. Teams having to build potentially through the draft, through their G League team, being more well-rounded. You're not having this arms race to get the best player. You have to make good decisions as a front office. This is as close to the NFL as it's ever been. One executive says, I think they're almost too prohibitive, an executive said. Once you hit a certain threshold, it's impossible to improve your team. You're stuck. There's complexity, such as rules surrounding future draft picks being frozen for teams in the second apron, being too much for an average fan to follow. Will there be an increased tanking ahead of the 2025 draft? 10 yes, 8 no. So pretty even. Cooper Flag, number 1 pick. It seems like it's consensus. Did a great job with Team USA, the select team. Also, you have Ace Bailey, pretty good name. Dylan Harper, Nolan Troy, and VJ Edgecombe. But again, with the new thing, Atlanta had 3% odds to win the first pick, and they got it. You have 13% chance if you come in first, second, or if you're in the last position, second to last position, or third last position, aka having the worst records. So we'll see. There's a lot of teams maybe going for that. And I'm in Utah. Buy marketing, bring in the Warriors, and you can go get Cooper Flag. So a lot to break down there. Fun. Again, this is off season, so not as much Warrior-specific news coming out on a daily basis, especially with Summer League over, Olympics going on. Now it's kind of what can we find and keep you updated on NBA stuff, Warrior stuff, Olympic stuff, everything in between. Comment your thoughts. Let me know. And, of course, subscribe and go check that first video if you didn't. And all the videos on Warriors Digest. We have everything for you.